My introduction to color theory came early. My mom slapped down a box of crayons on the table and said, "Bradley, these should keep you busy for an hour while I'm at Jazzercise." Whoa! This wasn't one of those 8 crayon boxes. No, we're talking 64 colors. Green, rainforest green, pine green, Caribbean green, shamrock green. And stop talking to yourself. Ladies will think you're weird. Hi. Today, we're going to be learning all about color theory.
Are you going to give us all our own box of crayons?
And then do Jazzercise?
No, we live in the future. We're using future things like these color wheels. Color pickers like this one come in all shapes and sizes. But I like this one. It's my favorite. I'm naming it. Naming it Joe.
You already named the question, Giraffe Joe.
Oh, speaking of Joe, he has another question. How do you make a color wheel? Great question. You make a color wheel by starting with the 3 primary colors. Red, yellow, and blue. By mixing these 3 colors, we can make other colors. Red plus yellow makes orange, yellow plus blue makes green, blue plus red makes purple. Now these colors we call our secondary colors. If you keep combining each color with the one next to it and making color babies, eventually you're gonna get a nice, smooth gradient. I'm just gonna speed up the process here. There we go. Gradient.
Cool, great lesson.
Yeah, I liked it. Let's go to recess.
Oh, wait, I'm just getting started. Once you choose your color from the outside part of the wheel, you can adjust the settings of that color in the inner circle.
Colors have settings?
Yeah, sure. There are 3 we're going to be looking at. Hue, saturation, and value. I need 3 volunteers. Got it.
Me either.
He's going to pick us anyway.
Hue. Hue is one of the main properties of color. When most people say the word color, they are thinking about the hue. In painting, a hue is the pure pigment, one without tint or shade. Here, I'll paint you with a pure hue. Oh, wow. The outside circle of our color wheel is the hue. It doesn't matter what color you pick. If you get the pure hue, it's pretty intense. Volunteer number 2, you're going to be helping us with saturation. This is the intensity of the color. Decreasing the saturation pushes it more into the grays. If something is desaturated, it looks more washed out. It's not as intense or as bright. The more saturated your color is, the more vibrant it is. On our inside color circle, this is controlled by sliding your color setting from right to left.
I look normal now.
Volunteer number 3, you're gonna be value. This is how light or dark your color is. In traditional painting, this is done by adding black or white paint to your main hue. In our color picker, this is controlled by sliding the color settings up and down.
You learned all this from a box of crayons?
Well, not exactly. I feel another flashback coming on. Brad's color mistake number 1. Way too much saturation. When I was a wee little lad, I did a lot of strange things. Is this food or adhesive? Something I did a lot when I started out was way too much saturation. I think this came from that 8-pack of crayons. It had the primary colors, red, blue, yellow, the secondary colors, green, orange, and purple, and a black and white crayon thrown in for funsies. The colors that came in the box were the most saturated colors. That's how I learned to color. This is red, this is blue, this is green, this is yellow. Boom. Done. I would like my sticker now.
What did he say?
But if you look at drawings, even drawings that look really bright and colorful, they don't often use the most intense versions of the colors that we're used to. That's where that 64-pack of crayons comes in. That had a whole lot of variations. Some were less saturated. They had different hues. They had different values. You could just do so much more with those crayons. Take this thumbnail from one of my other videos. I like to use really bold colors. Colors that are going to stand out when you're scrolling through all the videos on a YouTube homepage. This red, it looks pretty bright, but if I use pure saturated red, it would look like this. Yeah, that is too much. If I chose the most saturated blue, yeah, it gets even worse. Let's take a look at our color picker. We're right here on the red scale. As you can tell, the saturation is dialed down a bit from the most intense hue that we can get. And the more we pull it back to the left, the less saturated it's going to be. Let's look at that blue hue. It would be here, but what I actually used is way down here. Almost every time I pick a color, it's nowhere near the most saturated version available. I am almost always dialing down my color intensity.
I'm getting this all down. Don't use oversaturated colors.
Never ever use them. No, I don't mean that at all. Saturated colors can be incredibly effective, but you have to know when to use them. Have you ever gone to a store to buy a chair and you pick up one of those flyers and ask yourself, I wonder what's for sale. And it screams at you. Look at me. I'm for sale. Hey, over here. I want to be your chair so bad right now. They're using every color and shape they could throw onto the page. It hurts. It hurts my eyes so much. The problem is when you make everything exciting, nothing is exciting. Colors work the same way. When every color is loud and vibrant, hey, look over here. Look at me. Yo, buddy. I'm so red right now. You lose focus. What should my eye even be looking at? But what if you peel back some of these colors and choose one color and push the saturation up on that one? That has the effect of pulling in your attention to that part of the drawing. If you have multiple characters in a panel and one of them is talking, you may want to use saturation to pull focus to that character. Or if it's an action scene, you can use saturation to draw attention specifically to that action. The more detailed your drawing gets, the harder it is to tell what the user should be focusing on when they look at it. Color saturation is one of the tricks you can use that can really help that out. I have an activity for y'all. It's all about saturated colors, and you guessed it, we're gonna be choosing less saturated colors and toning down an image. I have a sample image here. You can use one of your own, or you could snag mine for free over on bradsartschool.com. First off, try coloring this the way you normally would, and then do a second version where you take those colors and you dial down the saturation. Experiment with this. After you've dialed them down, you can always jump back in, figure out where you want the emphasis to be, and increase the saturation to that color. Colors are a very powerful way to tell a story. What do you want to put someone's focus on in your drawing? What do you want them to notice? Pump up the saturation in those colors.
Great activity. Can we have recess now?
No, I'm not done making mistakes. Another common mistake in the color world is contrast. Too much or too little? This is where our friend value comes in. Take this drummer, for example. The character looks kind of flat, kind of muddy. Even though I'm using different colors, they all have a similar value. Just by shifting the background color to something lighter, we instantly have improved this illustration. We can do that with all of the other colors too. This is easier to demonstrate in black and white. These colors have the same value. If we desaturate them, you can see that they're a similar shade of gray. A good illustration is going to have really dark colors and really light colors and everything in between. And like value, the more contrast there is between two colors, the more it's going to stand out within your illustration. Let's take another look at this drawing. You can get a sketch version or an inked version for free at bradsartschool.com. This time, I added some black outlines. One reason is outlines work so well for comic arts because you don't have to worry about color contrast as much. The black outlines are already providing a lot of contrast for you. But just because it's easier doesn't mean you shouldn't be thinking about contrast. If we add a foreground, maybe some curtains, if we want to draw attention away from those, we don't want that to be the focus. We want to draw attention away from those. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a darker color as my fill color. Why? Less contrast. Less contrast equals less focus. Same with the background. We could even make the line art behind the drummer lighter. Not black, but like a slightly lighter shade, like a dark brown. Then when we add our color to the drummer, he's still gonna stand out even though we've added a lot of information to this illustration, and we're doing this all through color contrast.
Give us another activity.
Yeah! You don't wanna go to recess?
No, it started raining.
Oh, okay, well that makes sense. Well, let's talk about color theory and how it can affect your mood. We've changed the color and the saturation of this image, and it conveys a completely different emotion. It went from a bright and sunny day to a cloudy and a rainy day. There's a lot written out there about the psychology of colors, and there's something to that. Different colors have different meanings, right? Red, danger; orange, creativity; yellow, happiness; green, natural things like leaves, I guess; blue, water, calm; purple, wealth and ambition; black, death or power; white, purity or cleanliness. Even though you see this all over, I wouldn't put that much weight into this, especially if you're just starting out and learning color. I think looking at color this way is going to limit your creativity more than expand it. Also, our reaction to colors vary from culture to culture, from country to country as well. For example, red could definitely mean danger. Stop signs are red, poisonous berries are red, blood is red. But when I see these logos, I don't think danger. So for now, I would take this and I'd just file it in a drawer somewhere. You're off the hook, Coca-Cola. What's more important is looking at how we can use these colors together. For example, the colors over here are often considered warm colors, and the colors over here are considered to be cool colors. So it's not surprising that many high-energy brands are choosing warmer colors, while brands that are trying to look established and trustworthy are choosing cooler colors. Our picture went from using warm colors to cool colors, and that changes how you perceive the scene. When using this in conjunction with contrast and saturation, you have a lot to play with. When you're picking out a color palette, you could take a monochrome color palette and make it really fun by just grabbing one color that's on the other side of our color wheel spectrum. You'll often hear this referred to as a complementary color. Wow, you're looking good today, green. Those new shoes? I guess the thing I really want to nail here is that you shouldn't go and pick your colors all willy-nilly. It's great to have a palette, something that's chosen with purpose instead of just grabbing random colors from your palette. And then you fall back into the problem of what should I be paying attention to here? Does anybody have any questions? Hey, where'd everybody go? Oh. It stopped raining. Well, for those of you watching at home, check out some of the other art lessons I have up here on the YouTube. We could learn about perspective. You could draw a human head. I got a whole playlist. If there's something specific you want to learn that I haven't covered yet, let me know down below in the comments.